Hey guys, it's Saturday. I want to get here back again for another recent pickups video for you guys. Today I'm going to be covering everything I picked up in the month of May, and this was a really nice month. I picked up some really good deals actually, and some really awesome games, so really excited to share some stuff with you, so let's delve into it. Okay, and the first game we have here is a game I was really looking forward to. It's a hack and slash beat 'em up spin-off of the hyper-mentioned Neptunia series, co-developed with the Tamsoft guys, the team responsible for making all the Samurai Kagura games, so there's a lot of similarities there. But I recently just put up a Dan chat, so if you want to learn more in depth, you can check that out. And I also done an unboxing for the Slim Edition. What we have here, hyper-mentioned Neptunia U Action Unleash. As mentioned before, this is a hack and slash beat 'em up. Really fun. You can play as all the Neptunia girls, and there's 2 new characters introduced in here, and it's kind of set where you just take on different quests, and there's different objectives and stuff like that. Plays really well though. I mean, it really reminds me of like the Samurai Kagura Vita games, so that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of interesting, moves to use, special skills to learn, and it's just a lot of fun. Each character kind of plays in their own kind of unique way, so it's fun to kind of experiment with all the girls in different teams, but really enjoyed hyper-mentioned Neptunia U, a lot of fun. And next we have a remastering of 2 PS2 RPGs that I've been wanting to check out, and this is a PS4 version, but there's also a PS3 and Vita version as well. But I'm really happy to have this. I've been playing this quite a bit. But of course I picked up the PS4 version for the Final Fantasy X 10.2 HD Remaster Limited Edition. Never got around to checking out Final Fantasy X and never got around to getting the other remastering versions, so I figured I'd pick it up on the PS4. And I've been playing Final Fantasy X quite a bit. I'm about 30 hours in now, a little over 30 hours in. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really surprised. I wasn't really expecting to enjoy it as much as I was. But I love that it's just like a traditional turn-based RPG, because I'm not a big fan of like the AP gauge in newer Final Fantasy games. I hate being on a timer. Like, I just despise that. I get used to it. Like, I've worked my way through some of the newer Final Fantasies, but I don't like being on a timer. I like being able to really think through what I'm gonna do, and that's what I love about traditional turn-based RPGs. And that's what I'm really enjoying about this. I love the gameplay. The turn-based elements are just so great. I love how each character is kind of spec'd in a unique way where they kind of fall into certain job classes. And I like how you kind of level up your characters in here with the sphere grid, and you move around this kind of grid. You technically don't have levels, you gain like these kind of S levels, so like you can move around this grid and be able to level up certain stats and abilities. So that's really cool. I really like the story. It's more of a kind of more grounded, simplistic story, and it's kind of more straightforward, which I like for a Final Fantasy game. And I like the characters actually. A lot of the characters have really grown on me. Not a big fan of Blitzball. I just didn't care for Blitzball. I was so happy to get past that kind of mandatory Blitzball game, but I don't know, I didn't care for Blitzball and don't really think it has too much of a purpose in the overall story of the game. But everything else, I love all the characters. I love Yuna, she's adorable and cute. I really love Riku, she's adorable and cute. I don't know who the waifu is in this game. I can't make up my mind. But man, I'm really enjoying it. And Titus is okay as a main character. I don't hate him or love him, but he's just Titus. Titus is Titus, I guess. That's the best way to put it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Just really high quality Final Fantasy. And next we have 2 complete in box GBA RPGs, and I do have a confession to make. When I had my GBA back in the day, I really didn't get into like any of the GBA RPGs. I have a lot of great games for the GBA, but they're all loose, and there are a lot of good games. It's just because of how much I love RPGs, I've kind of come to this decision that I want to try and collect complete in-box GBA RPGs. I want some of the RPGs on GBA. I want to start getting into GBA RPGs, and I want them complete in-box because a lot of them, it's just really awesome to have a complete in-box. So I found 2 complete in-box GBA RPGs, both really awesome deals on these. So the first one we have here is a game that probably a lot of people haven't heard of, but it looks like a really interesting action RPG puzzle adventure game, and I got this for $5, and that's Sema the Enemy by Natsume, and I believe this is actually developed by Neverland, and Neverland actually made the Lufia games, which is really interesting. So this is kind of like an isometric action RPG, and it has like puzzle elements too, so I'm really excited to kind of delve into this and check this out. But there's Sema the Enemy. And this next game was incredible to find, and this was just a really incredible find. Probably one of my best finds this year. But man, I'm a big fan of the Tactics Ogre series, or the Ogre series. I feel like the Ogre series is a really incredibly underrated series. If you love strategy RPGs, definitely check out some of the Tactics Ogre games or even the Ogre Battle games. But this was incredible to find. Not only to find a complete in box, but brand new. So I got this for brand new for $10. which was incredible because loose carts go for more than that. And this was one of those where I thought I wasn't going to be able to get a complete in box because complete in box copies go for a ridiculous amount of money. But here we have a factory sealed copy of Tactics Ogre, the Knight of Lotus on the GBA. This is factory sealed with the H seam in the back, which is kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see the shrink wrap. But this was awesome. I got this for $10. I couldn't believe the price. I thought they like missed a zero or something, but I'm a big fan of the Tactics Ogre games. Really phenomenal, traditional, high quality SRPGs. I've been wanting to check this one out for quite a while, and I love the box art as well. But this was a really incredible find. One of my best finds this year. I'm really happy about getting this. So really looking forward to also just trying to collect more complete in box GBA RPGs and seeing what I missed out on the GBA. But there's Tactics Ogre, the Knight of Lotus. Next we have 5 import games which I picked up off the store. I followed it at an incredible Golden Week sale. And actually, if you watch my mystery unboxing, you've already seen these games, but now I have thoughts on these games. If you want to check out that mystery unboxing and not be spoiled, you should probably do so now. But here we go. Here's the games I picked up off the sale. The first one, actually the first 2 here that we have are puzzle games. I'm a big fan of puzzle games, especially on the Sega Saturn. First one we have here is Popoito Hebereki. And I played this, and I thought it was a Puyo Puyo clone, and it kind of is, but it doesn't play exactly like Puyo Puyo. It's a little bit weird. You can only make like colored rows and like horizontal and vertical, so it doesn't like, unlike Puyo Puyo, which will link up in like all kinds of directions, it doesn't do that. So, and it only has one mode, which is kind of weird. Like most puzzle games have like various modes, like a story mode, time attack, puzzle mode, endless mode, and this just has like one mode, which is kind of weird. And the next puzzle game we have here is a puzzle game I actually played for quite a bit. I was really having a lot of fun with this game. It really reminds me why I love Magical Drop. But here we have the Magical Drop for the Sega Saturn. This was so much fun. Magical Drop works a little bit differently, where like the colored balls kind of come from the top down, and you can kind of like use a kind of cursor to grab balls and then kind of link up colors and stuff like that by shooting them back up. And it's just so addicting. It's so much fun, and I'm pretty good at Magical Drop. I do have to say that, but it's a lot of fun. It has various modes to play too. Just really fun. I love Magical Drop. And the final Sega Saturn game we have here is a really fantastic vertical scrolling shooter that I absolutely love. I beat it in my first sitting and just really enjoyed it. And it's a really impressive game, but that's Layer Section, or as it's known in the States, Galactic Attack. Really fantastic vertical scrolling shooter. You have like a normal shot, then you have this mechanic where there's like a little cursor in front of you and you can use that to shoot lasers, and you have like this laser gauge, because this game is all about kind of like different planes and fighting enemies on different planes and layers and shooting enemies on different layers. So you use that cursor to hover over enemies that are below you to shoot lasers that target them, and then you can use your normal shot to defeat enemies that are kind of on your same plane. But that being said, the game has a really cool presentation. There's so many cool like, scrolling effects and depth effects going on. Really fantastic game, superb soundtrack. Just a really standout game for the Sega Saturn. If you love shooters, definitely check this one out, and especially since it's not one of the more expensive shooters out there, so definitely worth checking out if you're a shmup fan, especially on the Saturn Layer Section. And the next game I have here, which I got off the import sale, is a PC Engine CD game that I picked up because I really liked the premise of it. And that's Gitsindina or something like that. I put it in the Google Translate. I already forgot how you properly pronounce it. But it's a like action RPG where you play as like quote unquote the damsel in distress, but she's not, because something happens to her attacker. I guess she can, the hero, the quote unquote essential hero, is kind of coming to rescue this girl, but he falls actually in battle, which is not a spoiler because that actually sets up the beginning of the game. And the hero falls in battle. And so the girl takes the sword of her rescuer and essentially fights her way back out of this castle and kind of rescues herself, which is a really interesting premise. Kind of really simplistic kind of gameplay and a little bit chunky, but just a really interesting game, really. Okay, and the final game I picked up off the sale is really awesome to have. I got this more for collection purposes, but I'm a big fan of the series, so I really couldn't pass up the opportunity to get this game complete in box and for a great price. But that is the original Shin Megami Tensei for the Super Famicom complete in box. Really cool to have. I really want to get into Super Famicom collecting, as I mentioned before, because unlike the Super Nintendo, which is fairly expensive to collect for nowadays, Super Famicom is actually still fairly affordable. You can get some cool games complete in box for good prices. But really awesome to have the original Shin Megami Tensei. This is so cool. I love the box art too, so really happy to add this to the collection. And that'll do, guys, for my pickups for the month of May. As always, be sure to let me know what you guys picked up in the month of May. Always interested in hearing that. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, please take it easy, guys. Bye, guys.